Good morning, Year 10. You've been back at school for 8 weeks. You are doing phenomenally. Absolutely, the vast majority of you doing the right thing the whole time. And we're getting back to the stage now where you're used to being back in school, you're used to lessons, you're used to working hard again. It's great to see how things have changed over time. You've had a really challenging last 18 months, everybody has. And some people had massive challenges during lockdown. The isolation from your friends, the online learning, much harder to access, etc. But actually, remote education wise, you did brilliantly. There's 500,000 Year 10 students in the country. We've got 213 of you, but out of those 500,000, the remote education you were doing and how many people were attending and buying into it, handing in work and continuing their education was phenomenal. The teachers went the extra mile, loads of live lessons, loads of work handed in, fed back to you, etc. And now you've been back in school for 8 weeks. You've been back in school for 8 weeks, you've got used to it again, got caught up on some of the learning, covered some of the areas that you might have found difficult from lockdown. It's just brilliant to see. And so we're moving more and more back towards normal. And resilience is that learning to fail and actually learning from failure. You fail upwards. You fail, you make improvements. You fail, you make improvements, and you succeed. And that's what school's about. It's not about getting it right first time. It's about building your confidence, and you learn through making mistakes. So in lessons, getting back into great habits. Most of you now getting back to working at home as well. It's worth a grade. All the evidence says that students who regularly work at home and support their learning, go over stuff, revise things, go over the learning they've done, memorise it, etc. That's going to make an extra grade or more to your results when you get to Year 11. Using Chromebooks, a new thing for us this year that really helped in lockdown, but doing little tests and memorisation, accessing the learning, using the Chromebooks for revision. Just make sure you have them charged and with you every day, and then the people who haven't got them can share the ones in the classrooms, but it's important those people who've got them bring them. What we're all about is there's 213 of you. We want 213 of you to have a great Year 11. As I say, 200 of you are on track for that already in what you're doing, following your teacher's advice, working hard, working at home as well. Still a few people to catch up on that, but it's all possible. So in 4 weeks' time, we are going to have Year 10 exams. Now, you didn't have Year 9 exams, and the last time you sat in the hall doing exams was Year 8. So one of the things we've done is, instead of crowding them in, we're doing them mostly one per day. Some days there's a short exam during period 3, but all the exams are in the morning. The exams will start at 8:30, so you need to be prompt and you need to be sorted. So we'll make sure that you have your lockers in place for that time. So you'll be coming into school, using your lockers, getting rid of everything, and then meeting down in the sports hall, ready for the exams. But we'll do another briefing before then, probably like 2 weeks before the exams. So where are you at the moment? There are absolutely loads. I know from my science class and from other teachers, there are loads of Year 10s in the I want to be successful, I want to do it category. They're asking and they want to know, how do they do it? They're getting more confident and they're giving it a good try, giving their best effort. And we want you coming out of these mock exams feeling very much this. We want you entering Year 11, once you've had your results back before the summer holidays, we want you entering Year 11 saying to yourself and knowing inside yourself that you can be successful. You can get that grade you want. You can get those 4s, you can get those 6s, you can get those grade 9s. And that's what the mock exams are all about, to give you a chance to try yourself out and build some confidence. What the mock exams do us, and the reason I put a stethoscope here, the mock exams are a diagnostic. The mock exams will tell you, here's the areas you're good at, here's the areas you need to work further on. The mock exams will tell your teachers, here's the areas I need to go over again. Here's the areas I don't need to go over again because the students have really grasped it and it's strong. So actually, from a teaching point of view and from a student point of view, it's really important to know which bits to improve on. You don't want to be in a position in year 11 going, I have to learn everything. You know loads already, but which bits do you need to work on further? That's what we need to find out, and you need to find out. So, having a sheet like this at the start of year 11, knowing that, here's an area I need to work on, here's an area I'm really strong on. Strong, work. So actually, from the mock exams, once you've had your results and your feedback, and then being able to go through and have a clear idea of which bits you need to work on during year 11 to get that grade you want, that's absolutely essential. So time-wise, it's Monday today, this week. You've got next week, then it's a week of half term. You've worked hard this half term, you deserve that. Have a rest, have a break, do some revision, little bits here and there. You've got a week of normal lessons, and then 2 weeks with the exams. And what does that look like? Well, you start on Monday the 14th of June. There's the Science Biology 2 exam to start with. Next day, it's English language. Next day, it's your option subjects. And I'll only point out, if you do 3D design, photography, art, those exams last periods 1, 2 and 3. You go out to break as normal, but then you don't go to tutor time, you go back to the exam room for tutor time and period 3. In the real exams, they take full days towards the end of year 11. All the rest of the time during this exam period, you'll be in your normal lessons, so you'll be continuing to do revision, etc. Second week of exams, exactly the same, mostly in the mornings. There's your other option exam, option 2 on the Wednesday, and finishing on the Friday with chemistry 1. Now, in order to get ready for those exams, you can do quite a lot. What we've said to your teachers is, after next week, with 1 week left to go to half term, after this week, then they're not going to be continuing teaching what they're teaching normally. They're going to be doing revision in lessons. So you'll be doing revision in class for 2 weeks before those exams to help you get ready. What you can be doing at home is completely up to you, but all the homework and all the independent learning set will be about the exams. So in terms of your own habits, things like making notes, making mind maps, knowing how to do it. You'll get lots of advice from your teachers, and you can ask them, how should I revise, what should I do? They'll give you topic lists, things to revise. So follow that advice and use those resources. From a psychological point of view, from your brain and how it works, the fact is your brain always working. The more you exercise it, the better it gets, and revision works for everyone. It's the practice, and practice makes perfect. If you go over something 7 times in different formats, whether you're drawing it or doing a mind map or index cards, it will stick as a permanent memory. It will stay in your brain. So rather than going, but I just forget everything, yes, once you've revised it a few times and you've gone over it a few times, you remember more and more. You might remember 50% of it. You might go over it again later and remember 60% of it. You might revise it again just before the exam, and in the exam you remember 70% of it, which will be great. In year 11 you might get up to 80 or 90%, and that's how you get to those amazing grades that you want. So, first thing to do, you might be a bit of a messy person, you might have books all over the place, they might be thrown under your bed, you might have your notes from year 9 and year 10 here, there, everywhere. You've got lots of different books now for different subjects. So, first thing you could do would be to get organised and get everything in one place. So it's not displacement, spend the first part of your revision getting ready, get everything into piles, get everything into a clear order so that when you sit down to do revision, it's really easy for you to access it. So your notes, your books, revision guides, anything you've bought over time, have it all ready to go. Well worth a journey to the pound shop for a folder, index cards, slippy dippy wallets, the plastic wallets to put revision notes in and keep it all organised. Well worth having a folder to keep it all together, and then you've got that as well for when you go into year 11. Your teachers will probably give you lists. In fact, they will give you lists of here's the areas you need to cover. And actually, as you revise, if you can go through and you'll see how well you're doing. So you get to like the second week of your revision, maybe half term, and you realise, I've already done half of it. It makes it much more manageable. Your teachers will also tell you what equipment you need. So for maths, obviously you need a calculator. For science, you need a calculator. For most subjects you will need the pencil and ruler as well as a black pen. Don't just have one black pen, have several black pens in case one runs out, and then you're not putting pressure on yourself. Now in terms of revision, just reading through your notes works for hardly anybody. I can't revise like that. Revision has to be active and it has to engage your brain. So things like using a highlighter to make bits stand out in your books, do that. Go through your books, highlight the key terms, write the key words at the top, use your glossaries. Making posters, making them colourful with pictures, turning text into pictures or short passages, summarising the information and then putting those in your bedroom, having them around so that as your brain is working all the time, you see these things. Some people love index cards, and on one side of an index card you write questions, and on the other side of the index card you write the answers. And every time you look through it, you just think of the answer in your head, flip over and you go, yes, I know it, yes, I know it, oh, I've forgotten that, what is it? So it's all there together. And if you start building up really good index cards now, maybe by these mocks for one subject, let's say it's history, you've got 20 index cards. By November in year 11 for the mock exams you've got 50 index cards. It's slowly, little bit at a time, over time. So maths have Hegarty Maths. We in science have GCSE, My GCSE Science revision, short videos, questions to check yourself. Other subjects will recommend different revision sites. YouTube is a wealth of videos. If you type in a subject and write GCSE this or GCSE that, other people have made videos about it and you can find lessons about it. And exam board websites actually have the past papers, so you can use those to practice. What I would say is, rather than thinking it's 4 weeks away, what about I do some this week and I feel really good about myself, rather than putting it off and then thinking, oh, I've only got 2 weeks to go, how can I learn everything in 2 weeks? It'll cause you some panic and, oh my god, I haven't done any revision. So don't be in that position. Best thing to do, start now. Do a few minutes tonight for your favourite subject. Then start looking at how much you need to do, etc. And your teachers will set that as your independent learning. Get yourself organised. As I said, everything in one place, and make sure you ask your teachers for anything you need. And underneath here with the video, plan ahead. How are you going to spread your time out so that you make this really manageable for yourself? How much should you do? Well, that just depends what grade you want. There are some people in some subjects that want a grade 9. There are other people that go, right, if I do this and this and this, if I cover it all, I'll give myself a best shot. The thing is, you will not be able to do too much revision. It won't hurt you. Nobody's ever been harmed by revising. The most important thing is that you give it your best effort. It's not about what grade you get this time so much, although that will build confidence. It's more about you having a proper go and giving yourself a chance. It's about you taking a risk. You're going to take a risk and put some effort in and have a real good go at these exams as a practice getting ready for year 11, and hopefully that means you'll succeed. It's that failing upwards. So we go from here to here to here, and then you get to a confidence of, I can do this, I know what to do, and entering year 11 with, yes, I will do it, and finally leaving school absolutely full of pride in yourself for what you've achieved. The grades you get at the end of year 11 will set you up for the rest of your life. They're not about getting into college. They're about when you're 30 years old, applying for a job, and you have to put down your GCSE results. It's what makes you stand out from the others. It's what will show people a lot about you and your ability and how hard you worked. Okay, thank you very much for listening.